Hello cookies, it's Siri. I am back and today I'm going to be talking about dating in your late 20s, early 30s when you're child-free. This video is highly inspired by Reddit CHILDFREE, a community that I found a couple of months ago. I go on there almost every single day just to read everyone's post, and so many people are always asking for advice and tips on how to navigate the dating world when you're child-free. So because I have some experience with that, I even got married before to someone who is child-free, and I am currently dating someone who is also child-free. I thought that I might chip in and help those of you that are looking for advice and tips. The number one tip is that if you are dating online, make sure to state in your profile, in your biography, that you are child-free. And one thing that is even extra popular on Reddit CHILDFREE and that is recommended by everyone is that if you have had a vasectomy or a tubal ligation or any type of sterilization, mention it as well in your dating profile, because that will weed out the people that later on will tell you, oh, I thought you will change your mind. That has happened to so many people there, unfortunately. Almost every single day I see people on Reddit CHILDFREE who find out years later, sometimes 5 years, 10 years, 14 years, that their partner was just waiting for them to change their minds. And that is so unfortunate for everyone in the situation. So what I would recommend is that you say it blatantly there that I am child-free, I never want to have children. And if you are sterilized, I am sterilized. Of course, people can always lie about being okay with dating someone who is sterilized and then later on asking you to do a reversal. But at least there is a higher chance that you will not attract people who really, really want children. The second thing is to be patient with bingos and not to let those discourage you from continuing to do online dating. Bingo, for those of you who are not familiar with Reddit CHILDFREE, is the act of trying to convince someone that they're wrong because they want to be child-free, trying to judge them, trying to basically bash their decision and not respect their own choices. So someone who will say, oh, but who will take care of you when you're old? Oh, you're such a horrible person, you're so selfish, and all those negative things of people not respecting others and not being open-minded about the fact that different people have different ways to find happiness. That is what is called a bingo, or to be bingoed. And when you go online dating, you will be bingoed a lot, because some people somehow just get bummed by other people, strangers, choices about their bodies, their life plans, their goals in life. And that really boggles my mind, because what people decide to do with their lives is no one else's business, and they're not hurting others, they're just doing what's best for them. So those people will be everywhere on dating sites, and don't just let those people drain your energy into trying to find a partner, because remember, you only need one person and then you're set. You just need one match, one good partner, and that's all you need. So of course you get irritated and you go, oh, I'm going to discard Tinder or Badoo or OkCupid or Match.com or whatever app you're using because 1 or 2 or 15 or 30 people are being mean to you. It's not going to help, and it doesn't really matter. Just stay focused on what you want and don't let those people kill your vibe.
Yay! Good fetch!
Another tip for when you're starting to talk to a stranger from a dating app is that early on in the conversation, whether you're still talking on the dating app or you've already moved on to WhatsApp or Messenger or any other platform that you're using, is to mention again that you are child-free, because many people don't read other people's biographies on dating sites. And that surprises me, because I read everyone's biography. You're looking for a partner, and shouldn't you want to be interested in what the person has to say, how they describe themselves, gather a little bit of information about this potential life partner? So that's just me, I guess, but I read everyone's biography, but many people don't do that. They just swipe right because they think you look good. And so it's best to address it again. And now, before, I used to wait until the relationship got a little bit serious, not being boyfriend girlfriend yet, but a little bit serious, to ask. And I really don't recommend that, because then you already invested, both of you already have a strong crush on each other, maybe one of you has already fallen for the other. And then if you address it only then, and one of you is child free and the other isn't, then you might have to part ways. Having children or not is not something that people can compromise on that easily, because it is a huge part of life and a huge part of what people want to do or not want to do. So if you don't discuss that early, you might face a heartbreak that you didn't need to face. So, for example, with my ex-husband, I waited, and in retrospective, that was a mistake. I didn't want him to think I was crazy and already going deep into the relationship, and I didn't want him to see that as a red flag. But at the same time, if you're both looking for a serious relationship, the serious things in life and the goals that you both have should be discussed early on, so you're on the same page and you don't waste each other's times. So I remember that when I asked him after already maybe 2 or 3 months of dating, I was extremely nervous the whole week, knowing that I would see him on Saturday, and I had already decided that I would ask him. And I was so scared, because I thought, for me, this is a deal breaker. If he says he does want children, then we have to part ways, and this sucks because I like this guy. And so when I asked him, he was extremely uneasy. He went quiet for a while, and then he said, I don't want children. Ah, the relief! That was amazing. I felt such a huge relief. We were both relieved, and he was scared that I wanted children and that would end the budding relationship, but it did not. So after my divorce, I decided to be upfront about it and write it on my biography and talk about it early on, and even mention it again on the first date, just to make sure that we're on the same page. Of course, some people can lie, unfortunately. By the way, if you are not a child-free person and you're watching this and you feel like lying is a good thing, there's a chance that this person is not going to change their minds, because people that date child-free people expect them to change their minds. Well, fair enough, you can expect whatever you want to expect, but if that person doesn't change their mind later on, then you will be in a tough spot. The next tip is to check their behavior around children, babies, and kids early on in the relationship. And one thing that I keep on repeating my girlfriends who are on the dating scene is that dating is to gather information. You date someone to try and figure out whether you have the same life goals, whether you have the same values, whether you have common hobbies, whether the person is someone that could help you reach happiness, etc. So dating is all about collecting information and gathering data to try and see whether this person is truly child-free or okay with not having children. I recommend checking their behavior around children. So if you're dating in your late 20s, early 30s, or mid 30s, you're in that age group where people start to have babies. So people's siblings, people's best friends, people's acquaintances, people's colleagues, everyone is starting to have babies. So look at the person that you're dating and look at how they behave around children. Even if they tell you, oh, it's okay, I don't mind, I haven't really thought about not having children, when they're around their nieces and nephews, or when they're around their colleagues' kids, look at the small signs and the big signs. Does their face lit up, or they are like, oh, look at this baby, isn't this nice, wouldn't this be nice? That kind of stuff is a red flag. Of course, some child-free people adore their nieces and nephews, their colleagues' kids, their best friends' kids. I'm not talking about those people, because even those people, you can always tell that they are child-free. They're good with kids, they enjoy being with kids, but they're still child-free because they're not saying things like, wouldn't this be nice? Oh, look at that. I think my brother is so lucky because he gets to plan a camping trip with his wife and 3 children. Those things that show an exacerbated enthusiasm for a life that includes children or red flags. It's not just, oh, my nephew is so cute, but it's okay, I don't want to have my own child, or like, oh, I like babysitting my cousin's kid every now and again, but oh, I'm so happy once they go back home as well. Those are not red flags, but it's the signs and the things that they say and their overly excited behavior around the whole children thing that you should really try and pick up on. Actions speak louder than words. So they might tell you, yes, I'm child free, no, we're never having kids. But then they go and cuddle all the kids and go, oh, this is amazing. Think about how our life could be if we could have this on a Sunday morning. That is a bit suspicious. So just keep your eyes open. The next thing is to not accept to be step parents if you're staunchly child free. The thing is, people will tell you that you don't have to do anything, that it's their children, that they only have them every second week. But ultimately, because you will be an extension of that person is a package deal. So you will also have to deal with the package, whether you like it or not, whether it would be sharing your partner's time or attention, or even sharing your finances if you have a joint bank account with that partner and suddenly something happens to their children, whether they're small children or teenagers or already adults, and they need to help them financially for survival, then you will also have to help. And if you're child free, you will not be happy about those things, no matter how much you think that you love the person that you're with. And that is not coming from my experience, because I don't date single fathers, but that is coming from reading a lot of Reddit child-free posts about people saying that they highly regret being step parents. And even for your partner, that situation is also unfair, because they have children, and if you love that person, they're probably a good parent as well, a good single mom, a good single dad, and they want to share the joys of having children. And there you are, child free, you're going to drag your feet to events, you're going to plan things but not really put your heart into it. So they will be saddened and disappointed by your lack of enthusiasm into trying to be a step parent or caring more about the children around, because you are genuinely child free. And even if you try and force it for a little while, our real nature usually comes out once we are comfortable in a relationship, and then you will be like, I'm actually child free, I really don't want to do this. So it's an unfair situation for both of you. And the last tip is not to settle, even if you have finally found a child-free partner. If you are incompatible on other aspects of life, then you should not settle, and you should not sacrifice your happiness just because you're scared of not finding someone that is also child-free and even mildly okay as a person. That is something that I personally understand, because once I got divorced, I got really scared of never finding someone who is child free again and who is also a good potential partner. It is tough out there for child free people. I can tell from Reddit child free, I can tell from knowing people who are also child free, and it really just makes sense because it is already hard to find a partner. It is hard to find a partner whether you're child free or not. It's just hard. So add the fact of being child free on top of that, and you're playing on hardcore mode. For those of you who are playing video games like me, you're playing on extremely hardcore mode. So I totally understand that once you finally find someone who's child free, you're more willing to let things go, you're more willing to forgive, you're more willing to make concessions, you're more willing to compromise, you're more willing to excuse their behaviors because you're scared of not finding a good child-free person again or someone who is decent. But the thing is, if you sacrifice your happiness and if you settle for a relationship that doesn't truly make you happy, then it's not worth it anyway. Then it's better to be single. And what I mean by settling is not dating someone who's not making six figures. My boyfriend is not making six figures. And when we were dating, there were people who made way more than six figures that were trying to court me. There are still people at the moment who make way more money than my boyfriend who are courting me. And the thing is, I'm not interested in them just because I don't think we are compatible. They're nice, good people, but I am more compatible with my boyfriend and I am happier with him, even though he is not rich. And that's what I mean by not settling, because many people use settling nowadays as a way of saying that you settle because you date someone who is not rich. But what I mean by settling is compromising on your happiness, on your well-being, on the things that are important to you. And that doesn't have to do necessarily with finances. Maybe it does. Then if for you truly settling is not dating someone that you think earns enough, then you shouldn't settle either, because then you're unhappy and there's no point being in a relationship where you're unhappy.
Okay, you wanna go fetch? Okay. Fetch! Go!
And those are my tips for today. If you have other tips, please feel free to share them in the comment section down below. A couple of days ago, someone on Reddit CHILDFREE suggested to, instead of asking, do you want to have children, to ask, how many children do you want? But at the same time, I think it's a bit tricky because, as someone commented on there, their husband used to say one, just so the lady would not ditch them. It was more of a safe thing to say one, because it's not 5, but it's not 0 either. So some people might actually be child-free and lie and say 1, just so they have more chances with you. So that's why I haven't included this tip in here, because I'm not entirely sure it would work, but I'm still saying it now to you in case you have some tips that you want to share to help some other people. And that's it for me today, cookies. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss the upcoming videos. Until next time, I will see you, cookies, soon. Bye bye.